Hey, I'm Colin, and I've just been sitting here diving into the old YouTubes, and I just discovered a Yakitori chef that does some amazing things. Isn't that awesome? I love how he's taking something super simple like a kebab and just perfecting technique until he makes something truly amazing. Okay, yeah, I've definitely been watching yakitori videos for way too long. So yakitori is awesome, and I want to share with you a few things that I thought were super cool. Let's go. Okay, so yakitori literally means grilled bird. And I think yaki means grilled, so if you grill something else, it's yaki, and whatever that other thing is. Yakitori shops really became prevalent in Japan right after World War II when access to chickens became a whole lot easier. And so you saw a bunch of these yakitori shops pop up, and they really became the food of the common people. So as far as I can tell, there are two main things that make yakitori different than kebabs you see from anywhere else. And the first is the type of charcoal and the grill setup that they use. And the second would be how they butchered the chicken. So traditionally they use binchotan charcoal. Binchotan. It's made from Japanese oak trees, and this charcoal burns a lot hotter and for longer than traditional charcoals, and it's way less smoky. And I think that became popular because a lot of these yakitori shops, they were grilling indoors, and so they wanted a less smoky charcoal. But the high heat that comes off from this charcoal also aids with their particular cooking technique. This charcoal also, because it's the charcoal you're supposed to use, is quite the hot commodity, and it costs a ton of money. I mean, when I looked up how much this was gonna cost, Rumpelstiltskin appeared and asked me for my firstborn child. I mean, this stuff is expensive. The cheapest I found was $65 a bag, and so I wasn't gonna play that. However, because binchotan is becoming so popular and yakitori and Korean barbecue both use this really high heat charcoal, there's been a new product to come on the market called tan. And it's made from rambutan trees, and it has the same characteristics of binchotan: really high heat, really low smoke, lasts a really long time. And if you've never seen rambutan before, it's this awesome fruit that's got like a grape inside, but it's really hairy on the outside. It's wild stuff. So yakitori is different than traditional grilling setups also in the distance from the charcoal to the food you're cooking. A traditional Weber kettle, like a lot of times you'll see here in the West, there's quite a distance between the charcoals and the grate, and there's a lot more convection heating and less direct heat that's really impacting how you cook the food. Because the ideal texture on the yakitori is crispy skin on the outside and a gooey center, you get the meat real close to those coals so you can get that high heat that allows you to get that really nice crispy outside pretty quick. So with the high heat coming off that charcoal and the proximity the food has to the charcoal, it's very important that the butchery or how they cut and load up those kebabs is very precise. You don't want your food to be too big on there because then it won't cook all the way through in the middle. And you don't want it to be too small because then it'll just be too crispy and you won't get a nice juicy cut. The other thing that's really interesting about yakitori butchering techniques is that they oftentimes will separate out different parts of the chicken onto their own kebabs, so that way you can taste the different parts of the chicken by itself. This is something that in the West we usually reserve for things like pig or cows, and we enjoy the different cuts of steak for different occasions, and we've never really explored all the different parts. I mean, breast and thigh meat is about as far as we go in the United States, but yakitori, they can make 13 different cuts that explore all the different flavors that a chicken can have, and they can taste the subtle differences between, let's say, the neck skin and the thigh skin. Even the skin is its own skewer that you can explore the different textures and tastes it has to offer. So obviously I need to make yakitori, right? But I don't have a yakitori grill, and I need to have something specific in order to have that proximity to the food be a lot closer than my grill will offer. And I want something tabletop so it can be kind of like a party thing where people can be grilling their own kebabs and it can sit on the table and it can be a great time. So I think I'm gonna look up how much one of those yakitori grills cost. Oh, hell no. No. We're gonna have to make one of these. Yeah, no, I'm not paying that much. All right, so I've been poking around in the net here. I've got a couple ideas that I'm gonna take with me to the hardware store, and I think I can do this on the cheap. I think I can make my own yakitori grill. So tomorrow morning when I'm running errands with the kiddos, I think I'm gonna go pick up some supplies and see about making a yakitori grill tomorrow. All right, we're heading over to the Home Cheapo, pick up some parts for our yakitori grill. Running some errands with the kiddos. Say hi! All right, how was the store, Margot?
Good, so I get McDonald's.
And that was the bribery necessary to get 2 kids through a trip to the Home Cheapo. All right, so I think I'm gonna blend together a few ideas I saw online for how to make a DIY grill. I'm gonna get a drywall mud pan, and I'm gonna attach some legs to it with some pop rivets. And I'm gonna notch some holes in the sides to keep the skewers from rolling around. After that, I'm gonna spray the outside with some high heat spray paint just so it can look real nice and pretty. All right, so I finished the yakitori and I couldn't be more excited. I think it's super cool that the drywall mud pan had these slanted sides, so it has a pretty neat stance. And I think it's gonna be really cool for putting your skewers on here and cooking your food up. It should be really fun. All right, so this was enough of a project for this weekend. So next weekend, I think I'm gonna practice my butchery and try and come up with a bunch of different cuts of chicken to try out in the yakitori so I can see if I can tell the difference between them. And I think we're gonna invite some folks over to have a little yakitori party with us. So stay tuned next week to see yakitori part 2. Thank you so much for joining me on this first part of my yakitori adventure. If you have any questions about this grill or yakitori in general, I'm still a newbie, but I'd love to chat with you about it. And if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give me a like down below and subscribe. Till next time, cheers.